Hi, Tony McGuinness here for itipsports.com.au, your one-stop shop for AFL and NRL sports analysis and insights. If you want full coverage and weekly updates, head to itipsports.com.au. Let's take a look at our AFL Round 4 review, where our HBM Human Behaviour Model continues to highlight performance peaks and troughs that create opportunities across the AFL season. The game of the round was clearly Hawthorn versus Geelong, arguably the game of the season so far. These two look a cut above the rest. At 91.85, it seemed like Geelong had done enough, but Hawthorn produced one of the centre clearances of the year to level the scores. Let's have a look at that moment.
On the burst. 94 seconds left, plenty of time.
Defensive set up here for the Cats. They flick it back here. Newcomb a high one. Lawson Humphries all the way to the back. Around the body, straight to McDonald. Instant release from him. Lewis!
It was high quality, high pressure football, and both sides look genuine contenders. Adelaide and Fremantle was another thriller, with the Dockers winning by just 2 points, 78-76. Adelaide has now lost 3 games by a combined total of just 17 points. Those narrow margins can define a season, and it's going to test the Crows mentally. Fremantle, on the other hand, are building nicely. The Bulldogs remain unbeaten at 4-0 after their win over Essendon. They controlled the game, but the Bombers did enough to cover the big line, which played out as expected. The concern for Essendon is that a 34-point loss is now almost seen as acceptable, and that says plenty about where they're at. Sydney produced one of the most dominant displays of the round, smashing West Coast 163-35. It was relentless, up-tempo football, slick ball movement and elite pressure, a serious statement performance. Melbourne moved to 3-1 with a solid 20-point win over Gold Coast, who had their bubble burst in a game many expected them to win. Melbourne looked disciplined and balanced. Richmond slipped to 0-4, while Port sit at 2-2 after a low-quality, low-scoring contest that didn't offer much in terms of polish. And then there's Carlton. Once again on Easter Friday, they won the first half and lost the second. Another opportunity gone. This has to be demoralising. Each loss adds more pressure on the club and the coach. Carlton is statistically the second best first half team in the AFL, but clearly the worst second half team. That's not a talent issue, that's mindset and conditioning. Meanwhile, North Melbourne moved to 3-1 in what has been a surprisingly strong start to their season. Now we turn our attention to round 5 and gather round in Adelaide, always a fascinating weekend of football. For more AFL analysis and weekly insights, head to itipsports.com.au and make sure you follow our YouTube channel, like and subscribe for more sports coverage and updates. I'm Tony McGuinness, and I'll see you next round.